Hi, this is my very first video, and I would like to explain to you why an elderly woman like myself, just turned 60, would ever think of becoming a YouTuber. I have three main reasons. Number one is curiosity, number two is nostalgia, and number three is what we don't usually talk about is money. Money. I'll get to that. And in talking about these three reasons, I would like to introduce myself a little bit to you. Curiosity. I am, as I mentioned, 60 years old, born and raised in Denmark, lived in Denmark all my life, up until 5 years ago, when I had to get out of the life I had, moved into a small cabin in the forest in Sweden to reset. I got tired, I hit the wall, as they say. So I've been up here for 5 years. And looking back on my life, I see that every 5 years, so give or take, I need to fill in new content. Even living my dream, I have to. I get a bit bored after 5 years, and you have to put in new things. And it doesn't have to be selling the farm and moving to a different country. It can be just learning a new skill, learning a new language, uh, taking up a new hobby. So I found myself sitting in my paradise forest here, where I was going to whittle and get better at whittling. Uh, and I did, and I healed after having collapsed after too much work and not making any money on the too hard work, too many hours. I I healed. It took some time, but I healed, and um I got curious again, wanting to be in life again. Not that I didn't want to live before, but I didn't want to socialize. I have no television, no radio, no disturbances. I do have my phone, however, because it's kind of essential to banking and paying bills and also being in contact with people. And then for entertainment, I should have whittled a lot of spoons, but I got a little bored with that. So I started watching YouTube videos a lot this winter. Um, Many hours a day, actually. And first it was for entertainment. It was watching these young men go out in the forest and building themselves a log cabin with an axe and a hacksaw. And absolutely nothing that I should do in my life. But I could relate to them anyway, and I found it very, very entertaining and calming and wonderful to watch them use their skills to build these log cabins. Then it was people building or rebuilding vans as camper vans and going camping, van life in Portugal and stuff like that. Very entertaining as well. Renovating houses, building tiny houses. All these videos come in, and all of a sudden, videos started coming in, made by women my age, just sitting in their living room talking, or walking in their forest talking about life, about their uh, experiences in life, their hopes for their future lives, hopes for the youth, and political videos and stuff. And I also had friends asking, well, why don't you make a YouTube channel? You're living the life that a lot of people dream of doing, just walking away from work and living in the forest. You could make a YouTube channel. I never thought of myself as a YouTuber. um, had you said it a year ago that I would make this channel, I would have said, no, I'm not. That's what I moved away from, all the electronics and all the devices. But no, I didn't move away from that. I moved away from disturbances. So now I am seeing YouTube as not a disturbance, but as a very interesting platform for me to be. And that brings me to the nostalgia. Because when you're 60, I don't know if I mentioned it, I just turned 60. You think back on your life. You think ahead of, well, as well, into retirement and stuff, but you think back on a life. And I remember the talks that we had in our 20s and 30s, and I miss that. Sitting there under the duvets with a cup of tea or a glass of wine, talking to a friend about your stupid parents and how you're gonna make your life, who are you gonna be with, what kind of job are you gonna have, what education do you take, what's in life for you. And we don't do that anymore. Now that the discussions are different, we have formed our personalities. We don't we kind of set in that way, and we have lived um, many years of life now. So it's different. It's not worse or boring, but it's just different than it was back then. And I started thinking about what is it that young people find on the social media platforms that we didn't. I have to say that we didn't have any internet, but we found our other platforms that were physical platforms. So my nostalgia brought me back to the little island of Femø in Denmark, where in the 70s the world's first women's camp was formed, and it's still alive and kicking. I used to go there a lot in my 20s and 30s. And what we did back in those days was to have talk groups. There were about 80, 90 women in the camp in 1 week, from Saturday to Saturday. And we formed small groups of 10 women, maximum 12, but usually about 10 women in the talking group. And the first 2 days, from breakfast to lunch, was telling life stories. Now, there were rules to that, not to the content, but every woman had 30 minutes, minutes. That was her time. And all other 9 women were to listen. No distractions, no interruptions, no questions asked, no comments. Your time, 30 minutes. That meant that in those 2 first days, you were listening for 4.5 hours, just listening to other women telling you and 9 other women their life story. And of course, you had your 30 minutes where you were talking with no disturb. That was wonderful. I loved it. And I still like to socialize in that way, but we don't do it very much anymore. And that's what I thought. That's what YouTube does. That's the appeal. You talk on your time. This is my time talking to you, and you can listen to this on your own time, and you can walk out if you want to. No excuses. You don't have to excuse yourself to me and say, oh, I have to go home and feed the cats. I'm sorry, I can't listen. If you find me boring, you can just scroll on, and I will not be disturbed, because this is actually not live. This is actually recorded, but it's my time, and you're listening on your time, and you can comment on your time. And when I feel like it and it's my time, I can sit in my cozy sofa with a duvet and a cup of tea and read all your comments. And I can comment back on them. I won't promise to do that. I think that I will comment on the comments in the upcoming videos, because I'm gonna make more than this one. I can guarantee you. And I thought, yeah, that's the same thing. So my nostalgia just was fed by that. So I can get that on this platform. And then the third reason is the money. Now, I my name on YouTube will be the low budget luxury living lady, because I am, and I'm on a very tight budget. I'm not retired, so I don't get any uh, subversive. Do you call it that? I'm sorry, I'm Danish. This is my secondary language, English, so I'll make mistakes. I hope you'll understand anyway. But I don't get any. I don't have any income, no fixed income. I go to Denmark 2 months each year to work in the tourist business. I have friends who own a cafe. I work there, and I make money that is going to sustain me for the rest of the year. Now, I don't want to get into my budget, but it's very, very strict budget. I don't need much, but I do need to pay my insurance, my firewood, my dog's vet bills. Yes, I have a dog, a little golden retriever. So the money is tight, and my friends with the cafe are getting old as I am. I just turned 60. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, I did. And so they, and they are thinking of making an early retirement, and good on them. They work like horses, so they deserve it more than any. And but that just means that they're not that many hours anymore, because they have shrunk their opening hours. So I will be there for the same length of time, but I will not be making that much money. So this year I am gonna be looking for other sources of income as well. And then I learned, and I admit it, I'm an idiot with money. I'm extremely naive. I did not know that normal videos like this one, or short videos, or made any money out of YouTube. I didn't understand the mechanisms. So I've been studying the mechanisms of YouTube algorithms and monetization over the last couple of months, and I get it now. I get it. It's the views, it's the view time, and then the advertisers will put ads into it if you have um, an interesting content where they think they can push some of their products. Um, so if I could get this channel rolling, if I could make interesting videos and get enough subscribers, enough views, uh, that would make me a little money, so I could, as a supplement to having to earn money. So because I have still 8 years to look into before my retirement comes. I have to be 68 before I get my retirement. We got the pension. Um, so in those 8 years, I have to fill it out with some kind of income. Love working at the cafe. And I think I'm gonna love this new hobby, making videos and interacting with you out there on the videos. So if I could make a little extra money on it, that could be extra fun. So please help me get that on the road by subscribing, by liking, and by commenting, and most of all by watching the whole length of the video, because that helps the algorithms too to say, okay, that content is so interesting that people hang on. They don't just scroll by after 20 seconds. So please do that, and I will get into more about my life in the Swedish woods in the next coming videos. There will be 3 different kinds of videos. I will wrap this up shortly, I promise. But there will be 3 kinds of videos. Videos like this, where I talk, maybe share my thoughts about life in general, politics, or whatever, sitting down in my living room talking to you. Then there will be walk and talks. I'll show you around the property or the forest. I guess my little golden Sappho will get in the frame sometimes. And then there'll be videos about, not how to, because I'm not an expert, but how I do things. How do I maintain the chainsaw? How do I fell a tree? How do I build my woodshed? because I don't go to the lumber yard because they don't give out free wood, but the forest does. So I built from what is on hand here. Those will be the kind of videos. And I hope you like it. And I hope I'll see you again. This is all for now. Bye.